gonna say this year GuMiho has been looking very impressive in the TvP matchup, but Astrea has been able to take up almost half the games of GuMiho. Then, yeah, I think there's a pretty good shot for him here in this best of 5 grand finals that we are gonna kick off right now on Ancient Cistern. We're over here at the top right-hand corner map, so I to go all the way. In the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea, Busan, if I remember correctly, somewhere that isn't Seoul. We have our teamless blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea, somewhere in that isn't. We have GuMiho.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Protoss player living in the land of South Korea, representing Maturino Esports. It is Astrea.
Already being very suspicious and sending out a pretty early. Is that an early scout?
Yeah, it was a gate scout coming out from Astrea. He was quickly checking his natural as well, just in case there was some shenanigans going on. So Astrea fully aware of what the kind of player that GuMiho is. And yeah, we are as well, as this isn't the first TvP that we're casting with GuMiho today.
Indeed. We've casted one other one earlier tonight.
Yeah, exactly. We can already see that coming to pass here as GuMiho does trap the probe in the main base, and he did go for a Rax Expand. Not just a Rax Expand, once again a very greedy opener out of GuMiho. He skipped his Marine, he skipped his Reaper, he skipped his SCV Scout, and he went Reactor first.
Interesting. Really going to be building up a couple of units back at home, but probably going to be going for a bit of an earlier timing as, okay, going 1-1.
Yeah, setting up for that opener again, a very economic opener out of GuMiho. This probe is stuck. Astrea, he may decide to recall this probe back home instead of losing it. There are Protoss players that do prefer to do that, but we'll see as the Marines are now out. There it is.
The probe will live, and the Marines, I was going to say the Marines are going to be confused, but they do catch a recall right at the end there. I'm not going to lie, Light, when I saw the green over the Vespine Geyser, I thought, Astrea's still in the gas. Took me a while to realize that was a Terran refinery and not a Protoss simulator.
It's all good.
I just really wanted it to happen.
I'm sure at some point this series we may see that out of Astrea as, a good catch from GuMiho. He was lying in wait for that Adept. A lot of damage already dealt, a lot of hull damage to the first unit here of Astrea.
Yeah, it's kind of the advantage that you have when you go for the reactor first. You are going to have a lot of Marines to work with, and you are going to be able to bamboozle your opponent a little bit.
You really are, as GuMiho is already again just shocking around for that first unit. Meanwhile, across the map, we do have Astrea going for a Twilight Council opener. No Stargate this time, no Phoenix Colossus this time, which is something that Nice kept trying to get into in his previous series.
Yeah. So we'll see if GuMiho is acclimated. Obviously, he did win his series pretty quickly, so he was able to, or he had the opportunity to catch a little bit of Astrea versus Sue. Obviously, a bit of a different matchup, but it can give a little bit of insight as to what how Astrea is feeling today.
Yeah, GuMiho, he had like a good 20 minutes to himself, and I mean, GuMiho, he could have even like checked some VODs, maybe checked some, looked up on Astrea and what he's up to in current PvT, just trying to keep tabs on him. As you see Astrea going for a 2-gate opener, so it's a Blink Stalker, sorry, a Twilight Council with the Blink, yes, but only 2 gateways into a 3rd base, so a very economic opener out of Astrea, not very active or aggressive at all. This does give map control to GuMiho, and with that map control, GuMiho is going for some drop play.
About what we expected here, but still going to make use of his Hellion earlier on. He's trying to distract Astrea as much as possible. Astrea, though, he knows what's coming for him. He's already prepared with his Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, Stalkers are in position. The Hellion tries to dive into the natural base, but Stalkers will deny the Hellion, sniping it here at the natural. But GuMiho did at least get eyes on the third base, so he knows that Astrea is being very economic, that Astrea is on a low gateway count, so GuMiho is free to just tech on up back at home, getting into his 3-1-1 setup.
Yeah, could be looking to get a very potent timing. Already Stim is more than 3/4 done. He is setting up yet another Widowmine drop here, which I think I really like, actually.
Yeah,
Go for a bit of a double prom, but bamboozle Astrea. He thought it was just going to be one drop.
Oh, exactly, and here we go. The drop has been spotted already. Some damage is done to the first medevac, so GuMiho has to be very careful. Has the second medevac ready to dive in as well. As for now, he's just waiting for a moment, for that opportune moment when Astrea is distracted before he does pull the trigger.
Yeah, he is looking to maximize the damage that he deals here with his drop. It's a 5... What is that, quintuple? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Sextuple, medevac drop, or Widowmine drop, and here we go. They are going to be borrowed. A little bit of indecision here from Astrea, but in the end, he will be able to split up his probes very, very effectively. Only loses 3.
That was almost disastrous. It felt like a bit of a late reaction out of Astrea, but yeah, only 3 probes go down. Meanwhile, we still have 2 medevacs in between the third and the natural, and we still have 2 Widowmines in the bottom left-hand corner of the map as well, so GuMiho has potential for another drop as his main army moves out across the map. He's getting his third base on location. So again, GuMiho, his third base timing is a little bit delayed, is a little bit late, but we'll see if he can do some damage to make up for that as he is being active on the map.
Yeah, these Widowmines might not have gotten that much worker damage, but he is keeping the army of Astrea back home. He is keeping them pretty far in the back as well. Sidestorm just finishes up, and now GuMiho has to be very careful as to how he engages this.
Yeah, Storm is done, and there we go. Massive Storm on the main army of GuMiho is going to force him back. He cannot quite touch this army. At the same time, the drops still don't go into the bases. It looks like that distraction just wasn't enough. GuMiho is still waiting for a better moment.
He's being so patient. It's tempting. It is tempting to, at this point in the game, just zoom your medevac into the mineral line, drop your Widowmines like so. Pretty decent damage. A lot of damage, actually. That's 10 probes going down.
High Templar!
GuMiho still not that far ahead. High Templar will get caught. Thanks to these concussive shell marauders, plenty of damage has been dealt.
Yeah, exactly. So 11 probes go down to the Mine Harass. That was a cancel on the 4th base. And 2 High Templar got sniped by those Marauders. So very nice damage done here by GuMiho as he gets his own 3rd base up and running. The onus was on him to do some kind of economic damage to his opponent, and he was successful in doing so. But he is being forced back, though, as Astrea is able to disrupt GuMiho a little bit as well and force a reaction out of him.
Yeah, GuMiho not quite keeping up the pressure as he would like, just because of that little Zealot run by. But now that it's dealt with, GuMiho is I almost said unhinged, unhindered. He will be active on the map. Oh, a very ambitious blink forward there from Astrea will cost him a couple of Stalkers. But he is able to make it out of here with most of his army still intact.
Yeah, we had a really big Storm on the bio as well. We're looking for another Storm as well. Does zone back. GuMiho does take down one of those Widowmines as well. As GuMiho goes for a scan, trying to figure out, can he engage with this army? 4th base is being taken here towards the northern portion of the map. And GuMiho doesn't have eyes on this. It looks like this base is going to get up and running.
Same Okay, I was going to say cannot be said about this base of GuMiho, but it's only 3 Zealots. It's not the biggest of deals, especially when you have a couple of Ghosts with Snipe.
I'm worried, though, because you know what? We have more Zealots, and these Ghosts are pretty expensive units. They're going to get surrounded. One Ghost is going to be going down. Good EMP, though, as GuMiho is going to deflect the rest of this Zealot run by. He's trying to sit up here, knocking down these rocks, setting up to try to push towards this 4th base location. He scans. There is no 4th.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Widowmine does get a bit of a spot, and he catches every single High Templar in that EMP. Huge pickup here for GuMiho. It's just one fewer thing to really worry about. Yeah. It's only 1 Storm left.
Only one storm remaining. Meanwhile, at the same time, we do have that Zealot run by. The Ghosts are here. Do they land the EMP? It looks like they will, but both Ghosts are going to be going down, so expensive losses. At the same time, the main armies are clashing as well.
And that's a really important scan, and an even more important EMP. GuMiho will catch the entire army of Astrea in the middle of the map. Well, I say in the middle of the map, in the middle of Astrea's bases, and take game number 1, just like so. GG. Very patient play coming up from GuMiho, and it absolutely paid off.
GG, well played. In those last couple of minutes, we saw GuMiho with amazing EMPs, right? Like, he was able to catch so many High Templar, and that's the scary thing about going for that composition for Astrea. When you're not relying on Colossus or Disruptors, your High Templar are really your lifeblood in that matchup, in that game, and one good EMP is sometimes all it takes to stop you from defending or even engaging with the Terran player. So some really good fights, really good moments from GuMiho there, snowballing out of control.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And yeah, those are the type of snowballs that you wouldn't really get if whatchamacallit. Where am I going with this?
Yeah, these are, I mean, it's one of those things.
He had to
go on.
He had to wait until just the right moment to have these snowballs evolve into an avalanche, is what I'm trying to say. You know?
Yeah, over time it did just add up. So really nice play out of GuMiho. Astrea barely not able to keep up. He was going for like run-bys here and there, and we saw some half-decent storms, but for the most part he was losing out on those trades. But it's a best of 5, still plenty of games ahead of us.
Indeed we do, and we are going to be continuing on a very quirky map now, Neo-Humanity, where in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea, still somehow teamless. He is up 1-0 in his best of 5 grand finals. He is GuMiho.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Neo-Humanity, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player representing Macherino Esports down in this series, but it's a best of 5, plenty of opportunities to come back. It is Astrea. Here we go. I see the chat was catching up with your airport story about gum.
Yep.
You know, Singapore is just a little bit weird like that, but it's fine. It's fine. To be fair, like even though gum is legal here in Australia, I haven't actually chewed gum in years. It's been years, Bobby. It's been years.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't either. I mean, it's like, you know, one of those things where, maybe. Wait.
What are you gonna say?
Because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I were, I mean, that's the thing, right? Whenever I go to Malaysia, I always bring back like a kilogram of gum.
I was gonna say, it's one of those things where you don't know what you're missing until it's gone, right? Where it's like, you know, you're living this luxurious lifestyle lights where you can chew gum whenever you please, but here we don't have that luxury. We can't do it. So because of that, we cherish it whenever we can.
Yeah.
Shaking my head.
I'm nodding my head.
You're like, true.
Agreement.
Preach, Papi, preach. As oh my god, GuMiho went for a double gas opener, and it isn't a Rax factory into an expansion. This is a very delayed base here. This is potentially the beginnings of a one base all in,
which wouldn't be too surprising on Neo-Humanity. It is a very small map with a very short rush distance. Tank already out. This is a very early push. There's going to be a Viking tank push in it.
It could be Viking tank, could be a tank drop as well with a medevac. I mean, Marines are moving out. It's going to be denying any kind of vision that Astrea has on the map. He was not able to see too much. He saw the factory with his probe scout, but that is all he is aware of, as he is looking for a proxy starport. That is what is on Astrea's mind, at least at the moment.
And Astrea is very, very worried about that. He is scouting across every every typical proxy location, he knows something is up. He just doesn't know exactly what it is yet.
Yeah, like there's so many possibilities available, and again, Astrea, he's at least crossing off proxy starport, so he's safe for the most part against any kind of drop play coming into his main base. Little does he know, it is just a straight up one base all in. A couple of boys are being pulled as well to help buffer, not just buffer for the tank, but also repair the tank as well, as we are dropping across the map.
Yeah, repair the tank, throw down a bunker. It does get scouted by Astrea, which is super important. He is up setting up a wall, which we'll see how useful that ends up being, considering a tank can pretty much shell away at it from very far away.
Yeah, here we go. The tank is going to siege up. The wall working against Astrea here, creating this choke point. Is forced to cancel one of those gateways. Overcharge is popped as well. Good target firing from Astrea. He's focusing down some of those Marines, but he can't get the tank.
Yeah, the repair is just too good, and the Stalkers are a bit too far away from that shield battery.
Exactly, but once again, really good target firing. Astrea, he recognized that he couldn't kill the tank, so he's been focusing down those Marines one after the other. The Robo is under threat.
Ooh. And it will go down, and Immortal would have 100% shut this down, but now things are going to be a lot tougher for Astrea. Not impossible to hold, but certainly a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it does get another Marine. GuMiho was a little bit late to pick up that Marine that was being focused down. So again, the Marine count is getting lower and lower. And without Marines, there won't be anything to support these tanks. As the tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. There's still one shield battery left. We have a second shield battery on the way. Oh.
It's not often that you see a Protoss player afraid of landed Vikings, but when your army consists primarily of Stalkers, yeah, you do really have to respect the Vikings. You especially have to respect the tanks. 3 SCVs is still alive, by the way, so there's still a lot of repair potential here on top of these tanks, and this bunker is going to finish up. How does Astrea hold against this? I mean, Blink finished up. He can blink down, and there we go for a bit of a wraparound.
Yeah, he's going to try to come in from behind, trying to catch some of these reinforcements. A tank is going to pull a very good pickoff here from Astrea, but at the same time, the army's out of position, and GuMiho is diving into the main.
Yeah, this was such a decisive play here from GuMiho, noticing that the majority of Stalkers were in the back line, so there's nothing holding him back from going up on this ramp. Very costly blink forward there for Astrea. He takes out a tank, but he loses the majority of the Stalkers.
Yeah, and now we can see Astrea's getting ready for a surround. He's pulling the boys together. Likewise, GuMiho is also pulling his own reinforcements to make sure he doesn't bleed too much out. And here we go, Astrea, he's going for the surround.
And I choose to believe that things can still work out. He is targeting down the tanks. He did take out the SCVs earlier, or rather the repair isn't quick enough to keep these tanks alive, but the landed Vikings, man,
yeah,
they absolutely shred through these probes and these Stalkers as well. GG is called. That was about... Astrea defended about as well as he could, but... Mech is pretty good, apparently. You know, tanks, apparently they're pretty good against Stalkers. Who would have thunk it?
GG, well played. GuMiho was able to execute that one base all in so damn well. Again, the repairs were on point. Astrea, unfortunately, wasn't able to piece it together. As we were kind of pointing out, Astrea was... recognized the aggressive opener of his opponent, but he didn't know how committed it was. He was looking, and more like the priority was scouting a proxy. He was looking so so adamantly for a proxy out on the map, but he didn't find anything. And because he didn't see a proxy, he was like, oh, okay, I can expand, I can transition, I can focus on my economy and get into the mid game. And then suddenly the tanks rock up, and Astrea just was not prepared for that. Unfortunately, the Robo as well, very exposed. Imagine if the Robo was thrown down in the main. He would have had Immortals. More than one. More than zero.
More than one. Would have shut them down. As it turns out, the most dangerous proxy of all is proxy in your mind.
Exactly. So a good execution there from GuMiho. Astrea, as you mentioned, doing the best he could with what he had. But there's only so much you can do when you get caught with your pants down, when you get caught exposed like that. Oh.
But with that, we are now going to be loading into Royal Blood for what could be, but hopefully isn't, our final game of the tournament. Here we go now in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. Somehow still teamless, but now on match point, really speed running his way through this tournament. We have GuMiho.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Protoss player representing Macherino Esports. Down 0-2 in this series. Can he bring it back? He needs to here and now. It is Astrea.
One more map, which will determine whether Astrea is eliminated, or if he will keep this finals, or if he will continue the finals. There we go.
Yeah, we'll see. As Astrea is going for a probe scout, very early probe scout coming out from Astrea. GuMiho once again going for a double gas opener. So aggression is going to be on GuMiho's mind. This doesn't mean it's going to be a one base all in like last game, but there's potential for it, and I'm sure that's going to be in the back of Astrea's mind.
So far, this game starts off pretty similarly to game number 1 on Ancient Cistern.
And a double gas opener into that factory as well. Astrea, he's trapped into the main base with that probe. GuMiho should be on point with raising that depot, and Astrea may be forced to recall that probe back home to try to keep it alive. But the dangerous thing about that is that Astrea doesn't know if GuMiho is going to throw down a starport or if he goes for an expansion.
And he isn't going for an expansion this time. That is... So he delayed his initial Reaper and his initial Marine to get a reactor out, but he isn't going double Marine production. That is double Reaper.
Yeah, double Reapers. I think there's going to be some Hellions as well. So Reaper, Hellion, almost a TvT opener here from GuMiho. No, sorry, Widowmine. Okay.
I was gonna say we should be seeing a starport for a medevac out, but pretty soon. But if GuMiho continues to build Reapers, then he's not gonna have to gas for it.
Yeah,
okay,
but
he stopped building Reapers.
Yeah, he's going for Marine production. Back at home, Astrea is going for a Twilight Council opener, not a Stargate. So Bling Stalkers are on the horizon once again. A very safe opener here from Astrea as he works on his gateway count. But Astrea, again, he is in the dark as to whether or not there's a base, as to what exactly the units are for his opponents, other than the Reapers, of course.
Yeah, because the Reapers, they can be annoying. They will be providing a scout here, but they're not going to be the main unit here in GuMiho's army. This isn't 2016. You can't really get away with that anymore.
Not in this matchup. Not in this matchup. As the Reapers are racing back home, there is that starport on the way, so we are setting up for a mine drop. So again, nothing too crazy from GuMiho. He's just getting up and running here on his bases. Has very limited scouting information, but his Reapers did see the Twilight Council. As Astrea is mixing things up by throwing down additional gateways.
Okay. I think this is the first time that Astrea has really gone for a more gateway-focused style. I mean, aside from Neo-Humanity, but he was kind of forced to go to a gateway-heavy style on Neo-Humanity.
He really was. So if you remember, in game 1, Astrea went for a 2-gate opener into a third base. This time he's going into a 3-gate opener instead, as he will have additional access to Stalkers. He can be a little bit more aggressive. He can warp in. Additionally, he is still going to be expanding behind this, but again, a delayed expansion in favor of more Stalkers. The Stalkers are being pulled out of position. The mine drop is coming in.
Yeah, even with Blink, those Stalkers are going to have a long trek ahead of them.
There we go. First mine shot's going to be going off. We have 3 more mines left in the medevac. Blink is now done, by the way.
Yeah, so these mine drops shouldn't be as effective as they otherwise would be.
Exactly.
So really wants to get some damage done with this mine, but yeah, unfortunately there was no armory, so they will be detected.
Yeah, and again, because of the 3-gate opener, we had plenty of Stalkers to work with. A lot of lost mining time. It looks like Astrea thought that there was another mine here, but there we go, there is none, as he can go back to mining. And yeah, he does clean this up pretty handily. 6 probe kills for 4 Widow Mines and a medevac.
Yeah, not too bad. Could have certainly been a lot worse, and GuMiho was aiming to get a lot more probe kills there. He isn't too far behind. It's not like that was it's not like 4 Widow Mines are the biggest investment in the world here, so GuMiho is still going to be able to tech up, get his Raven out, get his Stim at around the correct timing.
Yeah, so he has one
Actually,
Raven.
He's got double Raven.
Yeah, one Raven is across the map for some auto harass. The other Raven is here back at home looking to snipe that Observer if the Observer does overextend. So GuMiho is hoping for that. He's setting up very well here for some Blinkstalker aggression as well. He has a great wall here at the natural. Really good tank positioning, really good Sim City here in the main base as well, just in case Blinkstalkers were to arrive. Quickly checking GuMiho. He did see the third base, so he knows that Astrea, for the most part, is being economic.
I think this might just about be the one game where things slow down a little bit.
Yeah, things...
The one macro game in this series.
Yeah, to be fair, there was a macro game in game 1, but that was really Astrea struggling to get his 4th base up and running, I guess, if you recall. Just 3 base saturation from both players, and we'll see if we can get back there here in game number 3. The Raven has been spotted. Astrea, he does have patrolling stalkers, so the Raven's gonna have a hard time finding damage. Meanwhile, GuMiho isn't going for a 2 base all-in. There's a 3rd on the way.
There is, in fact, a 3rd, but he can fake it. To make Astrea, ideally he would make Astrea overreact a little bit and yeah, not be as economic as he wants to be, but for now Astrea is feeling confident enough that even if it is a 2 base all-in, which it isn't, he'll be able to defend.
Exactly, as we do see GuMiho pushing on out. We are going to try to pick off that Raven as well. The Raven does take a couple of hits here by the Stalkers. Good control out of Astrea, not losing too much as he is able to keep tabs on this army as GuMiho is looking to expand behind this. I don't really think he wants to be too committed with this push. He's just trying to force Astrea to back off.
Yeah, Sim isn't done just yet. I guess if not for that patrolling band of Stalkers, he would have tried to go for the 3rd base, but yeah, he knows that he doesn't really need to. His own 3rd is right on time. He can play a bit of a longer game here.
Yeah, he really can, as he's just setting up here defensively. I don't think it'd be wise to move out either. We can see that Astrea, he's hoping to catch the army in the center of that, maybe unsiege as well with those Immortals and with those charge lots. It looks like Astrea is going to get eyes on that army as well. Astrea going to be repositioning here with a set Immortals. 3 Immortals. My god, that's a pretty hefty army for Astrea.
A pretty hefty army, but not an invincible one. One good stim can definitely put a stop to that army in its tracks.
Really could. We do have a Prism that's going to be threatening the main base as well. The Ravens, they do both barely survive. Going to be able to make it back home here to repair, as GuMiho is still just kind of posturing with his army. +1 is done. Stim as well. Ghost Academy Ghosts are now on the way for GuMiho. They're not with the main army yet though, so without the Ghosts, I don't really think he wants to push out quite yet.
Yeah, but he might be forced to if these Zealots get a decent amount of damage. Thankfully for GuMiho, he didn't send his army too far forward, so they were in position to deal with his run by. Not so. The same case cannot be said for the Warp Prism in his main.
Oh, exactly. Can we focus on the Prism in time? Looks like we can. The Warp in is going to be denied. The Ghost Reinforcements should clean this up. At the same time, the main armies are about to clash. GuMiho unsieged here. Astrea, he's looking for a fight, but he has to be careful. There are no Zealots with this army. Not yet.
Oh. Yeah, Immortal was so exposed that it will get picked off for free. A little bit of an awkward force field, but thankfully for Astrea, he did have more sentries and he did have more energy to completely wall off that ramp.
Exactly, was able to recover with that follow-up wall from those sentries, but here we go, GuMiho pushing up that ramp. Now he's got Ghosts, now he's got EMPs, now he repaired his Ravens as well. There are Colossus, but we have Disables.
Yeah, GuMiho's waiting for just the right time to throw down those Disables. We do have double Colossus production right now for Astrea, so he can afford to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more reckless with his Colossus. But not too reckless, as we see here.
Yeah, we have both the Colossus are disabled. The army of Astrea goes down instantly. GuMiho taking a dominant fight. A 3rd Colossus comes out, but it's too late. GG gets called, and GuMiho takes the series 3-0.
In absolutely commanding fashion here, GuMiho will once again build his reputation as one of the best TvP players in the world right now, and he did not skip a beat at all in these grand finals, man.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much that came into, especially game 3 there as well. It was so important that GuMiho was able to keep both Ravens alive for the entirety of that game, because it all built up towards that final push. The disables were on point, the siege positioning as well, Astrea just being bullied back into a corner at every turn as well. We saw Astrea trying to go for all these run-bys, right? The Zealot run-bys, the warping into the main, but they never really got any damage done. GuMiho was always nearby in position to clean them up and to focus on his push.
Yeah, who needs recall if you could just be everywhere on the map like that? Jeez.
True. But yeah, very well done here from GuMiho. 3-0, again, a very, very commanding series from him. He's going to be this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. Oh boy, and you know, hopefully one of these days GuMiho is able to establish himself on a team again. I know he was on Psystorm for a long time. It would be great to see him supported by another, just because he's such an amazing player, right? Like, he came second in ESL Masters Summer, and I'm sure he's going to do well in ESL Masters Winter as well.
Absolutely. ESL Masters Winter. I mean, before that, we even have GSL Season 3.
True.
Still quite a couple of tournaments left here in 20. We're in August.
We're almost done, but we're more than halfway there, mate. It's crazy.
Wow.
We're almost in 2024. And yeah, as you're saying, there's DreamHack Atlanta, there's GSL. Take did say that there was going to be a second Home Story Cup at the end of the year, but I think that's like December sort of thing.
Well.
So there's another Home Story Cup. And yeah, I'm sure these players, I'm sure GuMiho is going to be in form for the rest of the year, for the rest of the seasons ahead of us. He's looking pretty damn good.
He really, really is. Again, I would be honestly surprised if GuMiho doesn't end the year with at least one more accolade on his belt, at least one more finals finish, and he's honestly looking in form to win the championship.
Really is. Again, it was a shame that GuMiho, he couldn't take part in Gamers 8 and he wasn't a part of that event. Definitely a player deserving to be a part of that, and yeah, I'm sure he's going to be able to make up for that in the coming tournaments. Meanwhile, Yaku, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Our first ESL Asia together in a long time.
Oh, this takes me back
to ESL Asia PvP.
Yep, to ESL Asia number 1. Oh yeah, now 187. It's been 3 years of the ESL Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And hopefully another 3 more, baby.
Let's go. That is the plan. So yeah, thank you so much, Yaku, for joining me today. I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be seeing some more of you on this channel in the coming days as well. I know World Team League is over the weekend, so we're probably going to have to try and organize like who's able to cast what day, and whether we can get Asher and Kuro and Yaku on, because WTL is a pretty it's like a marathon of a cast. It's Friday,
pretty
Saturday,
much.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days straight of World Team League action.
Yeah, you gotta have your Dare Ice coffees ready. You gotta have your Inca Colas ready. You gotta have your chewing gum ready. All 3 of which are not available to me. So that was more of advice to you, Light.
Oh, not like this. I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. But if people want to tune into some Yakuzaku action, to potentially a ladder stream or some crab champions, where can they find you, Yaku? Where can they find you?
Well, before that, in a couple hours, /Yakuzaku1 gonna be streaming Traveler's Rest. A recommendation from Kuro, actually. So take that as an early birthday gift, Kuro.
There you go. Traveler's Rest. So wait, when are you gonna stream Traveler's Rest?
Maybe like 2.5 to 3 hours. So today's
Oh.
pretty much the only day I can stream this week. So,
Okay.
so I want to try to get that done.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, I'm gonna be looking forward to it. So for those wondering, exclamation mark Yakuzaku in the chat for links to Yaku's Twitch channel. If you want to tune into some Traveler's Rest action. Yeah. Have you played it yet, or is this gonna be your first time?
I haven't yet, so it's gonna be completely. I did watch a little bit of Kuro, streaming it. I know that you can whack people with a broom, so I'm excited for that.
Do you do that to get them out of your bar?
You do,
or?
yeah.
Okay.
You do that to wake up the drunks and get them out so you can close for the night.
You're gonna get your vengeance for being kicked out of the bar when the football was,
the football was happening, and they told me it was a 2-drink minimum if I wanted to watch the football.
Smooch, Buffy, smooch. Oh god. So yeah, you can check that out over on Yaku's channel. Meanwhile, you can tune into some of my content as well if you're interested. @_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream throughout the week. I was thinking about streaming today. I was thinking about it, but now that I just heard that Yaku is going to be playing some Traveler's Rest, maybe I'll stream after Yaku, or maybe we'll skip out on today as well. We'll see.
You gonna stay awake?
Oh man, I'm on that Saudi Arabia sleep schedule, man. I'm on the Gamers 8 sleep schedule.
Fueled by oil.
Yeah, let's go, Bobby. Let's go. So you can follow me at @VIP if you're interested. Otherwise, if you're only interested in our StarCraft casting, our next broadcast is tomorrow in just under 12 hours. I think 11.5 hours. We're going to be live with ESL Open Cup Americas.
Yeah. A little bit of a marathon going on there.
Yeah. I guess we should also
look forward to.
Yeah, we should mention that as well. Especially if this is your first time watching this tournament, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week we got some Korean action for you, and there's also the European version of this tournament and the American version of this tournament as well. So we are going to be live with the ESL Open Cup Americas, which is typically dominated by, you know, the Europeans that stay up and the Koreans that wake up early as well. As I say that, Trigger...
but not the Americans.
It's really not. But recently, Trigger and Astrea and Future, they've actually been doing really well for themselves, and they've been going for these like semifinals runs or even finals runs as well. So it's been really cool to see Trigger and Astrea and Future do well. Be cool to see.
I was gonna say for once they aren't degens, but I remembered that like 2 out of 3 of them are in Korea, so
Yeah.
still degens.
Yeah.
Still on that degen sleep schedule.
Exactly. So what I'm getting at is that if you want some more Astrea action as well, if you want to cheer for Astrea, he's probably going to wake up in the morning for ESL Americas. So be there. Be there to cheer for Max Goddamn Angel. Outside of that, Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
I had something. This game has layers.
Like GuMiho?
Like GuMiho.
Yeah?
Is an onion.
Oh. Are you gonna eat GuMiho?
Like an ogre. Should I?
God.
Does he taste good? Is he chewy?
Oh no. Oh,
he is kind of like gum.
Or
rather, gum is in his name. So.
Exclamation mark socials in the chat. Socials in the chat. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. CranKy Ducklings all over the place. We have a YouTube channel where we upload on a daily basis. Meanwhile, we're going to be heading off. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Give them some love. Give them some support. We're going to be raiding the man himself, Caviar Napoleon Marquises Acampado. Ender is streaming some StarCraft. Give him some love.
Yeah, love to see it. We'll see you there.
Hasta luego. Where else?
Sawadee Cap. No.